Folks, Peter Langan here, Product Launch Ninja. So, guys, this was an amazing training session myself and Alex ran for some students there on Thursday night. These are people that were interested in learning more about Amazon FBA, how the system works, how they can actually make some money off the platform, and how to identify a really good product. So, we call went on for basically 1.5 hours, and it was really, really good. So, we started off, we went through the different models of Amazon, our experiences with them. We then went through, how to actually identify a product, how that product manufactured and improved, basically, based on what's selling in the market already, and then how that product can be taken from China to the different Amazon fulfillment centers around the world. So you have a global business. After that, we went into some Q&A where they asked some really good questions, which we answered. So, folks, buckle up and enjoy.
Everything. So there's a lot of trainings that I've been on before where people kind of hide things unless you pay them money and this, that, and the other. We'll just show you pretty much what we know on this training about what it takes to start and launch one of these businesses. So it's probably worth noting like how me and Peter actually got here, like into this position right now. So is that showing the full screen there? Or is it
the bottom is slightly not on it. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So
Let me just
it's perfect.
So who are we? So I'll pass over to Peter so he can introduce himself first.
Yeah, absolutely, Alex. So I actually got my first start online selling wood lathes, would you believe? So wood lathes is for woodworking, and I started selling products belonging to them on eBay. And I remember the very first time I was actually in a pub, and I remember I got a notification like, you got funds, and it was like £700 or something. And I was like, I don't know what I want to do when I grow up, but all I know is it has to be online because I want more of this. You got funds, right? Also, I did a lot of pharmaceutical deliveries for my father. And I actually started selling on Amazon back in 2018. I was actually around St. Patrick's Day. And you'll hear more about my first product later on in the presentation. It's really cool, and it really brings home how this whole thing works. But I've managed to build a 6-figure global Amazon store, building a number of brands. I continue to sell to this day. I'm also a consultant with multiple 7-figure companies that are moving on to Amazon that aren't on Amazon. They want to use as a global platform to sell. And I'm really a passionate entrepreneur. And that's a picture of me standing in a container with a lot of my products. Back to you, Alex.
Yeah, so used to be a personal trainer, carpenter, worked in 9 to 5, wasn't really a big fan of it. And I started selling on Amazon in 2019, met Peter through a mutual company. And yeah, we both worked together since then, consulting with these big companies and helping them get onto Amazon. And we've also helped companies that have in like one marketplace on Amazon and help them scale to different marketplaces, which you'll see how we'll do in later on in the presentation. And as you can see, I've got a ton of mud on my face because I love riding my mountain bike and I am a YouTuber as well. So I have quite a lot going on, but Amazon's kind of like my main thing. So there we go to the next one. Okay, so pre 2018, again, this is kind of like related to both of us. We were both stuck in something, doing something we didn't really enjoy. We both knew there was more to life, and we actually felt pretty pissed seeing other people succeeding big and like wondering how they were doing it. So like, when you see all these big clickbaity numbers online and stuff, we were like, how the hell are these people actually doing this? So we went down a number of different rabbit holes when it comes to making money online, tried a ton of different things. Some worked, some failed miserably.
It was all good fun, Alex.
Yeah, which kind of like led us to where we are now with Amazon. 2018 onwards, again, Peter first found Amazon through a close friend, and then I followed suit the next year. I was actually working at the same company in a marketing department. I met Peter at an in-person event where he was like a sound engineer. And then from there, we were both kind of like, going back and forward, like having this little internal mastermind, growing our different companies. And that's kind of like how we started on Amazon. And then the present day, what started out as a side hustle is now one full-time income stream, which is pretty cool. We're both continuing to learn and evolve, and we've both got multiple streams of passive hands-off income. So as you'll see with this, Amazon, once you've done the front-loaded research and the front-loaded work of finding products, the products pretty much just run themselves and make money for you. Like the little money-making machines, really, little flywheels. So that's kind of cool. And then we also launched Product Launch Ninja, which we'll talk a little bit about later on, which is our premium coaching program. So these are just some of the screenshots we grabbed from our stores. just to show you guys that we're not, we're not full of hot air, and we actually like walk the talk. Because I know a lot of people that like people say other people teach things where they're not very good at it, but we still actively build our stores, and we're very much involved with the day-to-day runnings of the companies. So yeah, I think it's just nice to show that we actually do this stuff as well as teach other people how to do it.
Absolutely.
And again, these results you've just seen here were literally generated with a handful of products. So we're not talking loads and loads of products. Like as you'll see with Peter's first products in the next few slides, you don't need anything special or fancy. Okay. And again, these are just some of the clients we've worked with, which was one of these companies was a Danish sports company.
Yep. And
we help these people get onto Amazon and then scale into multiple marketplaces. And you can see there the numbers like speak for themselves, like pretty decent sized numbers. That's kind of cool. So I think it's worth just running through like what an Amazon business is, just to make sure it is for you, because some people get the wrong idea of what this is. So this is probably for you if you're new to the online business world and you're put off by the advice you see. So if you, this is more myself than Peter, I would say. Like I get really frustrated. Oh, what have we got there? Is there something?
We don't see whatever it is, Alex. If you're wondering.
Oh, someone's just entered the room. How do I admit someone? I don't know how we do that.
Let me see. Go down to participants, and then let me see. Can I do it from my end here?
Anyway, yeah. So new to online business world, put up there as you see. Again, just this whole guru thing of like people sharing these massive numbers.
Sorry, Alex, to interrupt. I can't admit them. So if you just scroll down to the bottom and get the Zoom bar back up again, click participants, just re-admit them.
How do I admit them? Sorry, guys. This is like the first time I've actually shared. Let me just stop sharing my screen a second. 1 sec. I will admit someone here. We got someone in here.
And we hope you're all enjoying thus far.
Oh my God. Right. I'm not going to do that again. There we go. Okay. Yeah, you've tried to make money online before and failed. So some people, again, like myself and Peter, have tried different business models. Some worked, some didn't. We were just literally throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what made us money and what didn't. You're interested in building a truly stable online business based on real business principles. So building an Amazon business is a real business, as you will see. The numbers are real. It's not just some hack or some thing that will be around here for the next few weeks, then it'll be gone. This is like a long-term thing. If you want to make a few extra grand or a few tens of thousands a month, Amazon is your key to doing so. Like it's the biggest e-commerce platform ever. So the opportunities are literally endless. And you want to build a business that doesn't include you being the face of the business. So I know some people have a confidence thing with being on camera. And I know this from doing a YouTube channel. Like people just want to be almost like hidden in the background and have all these income streams coming in, and they don't actually want to be known who they are. Which is completely fine. You can do that with an Amazon business. You don't have to be the face of the brand or the business. And you want something sustainable you can build in the background of your life effortlessly. So for most people, this will start out as a side hustle. If you've got a 9-to-5 job or you're doing something right now that pays the bills, I would consider keeping that and building this on the side until this like gets to the point where it's generating enough money for you to move away and transition out of what you're currently doing. And then you want to build a business that has no revenue ceiling and doesn't tie your earnings to how much time you put in. So with this, it's fairly passive. Once you've got the products up and running, you can literally make money while you sleep, as much as I hate that saying, but it actually is completely true. And this is the best way to get time freedom in your life. So time freedom is basically your ability to choose when and how you want to work without being restricted by a schedule. So me being a personal trainer, that was literally the worst nightmare for me, because I was being tied to the people I worked with, tied to a location. It wasn't how I wanted to live. So a couple of things about Amazon you might want to know. It's not complicated to start and grow, provided you follow the correct steps. Okay. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Yes, you can make money fairly fast with it, but don't go into this thinking that in the next 30 days, you're going to have this business that is like producing millions, like, because it's not the case. And we just want to be completely transparent with you. You can get rich quick off this, but I almost like the term like getting rich a little bit slower, like, and having that like longer term mentality, because that is how you build long-term wealth in this. It's not some hack or some weird loophole, which we said. over 50% of sellers are actual third-party sellers like me, Peter, and hopefully yourselves. So a lot of people seem to think that Amazon is just Amazon selling their products, but it's actually more than 50% people like the people on this call, just everyday people who are selling products. Okay. And this is literally like building an unkillable passive income machine. So once it's up and running and you have all these little products making you money, it literally just keeps running. All you have to do is make sure you keep your products in stock. And that's all you need to do. And there's obviously a few little other things you need to do, but for the majority of the time, that's it. And I would call this an unkillable passive income machine, because unlike some other things you could do, like other different business models, this will always come out on top, in my opinion. And Amazon wants you to succeed. So the more that Amazon can help its third-party sellers succeed and sell more and make more revenue and profit, the more Amazon grows. It's just like this cycle that keeps growing and growing. So how to sell on Amazon, the basics. To sell on Amazon, you simply need three things, okay? You obviously need a product to sell. You need a seller essential account or a seller account, and you need a means of getting your product to that customer. Now, when it comes to Amazon, there are many different ways of building a business, okay? So I'm going to take you through three of them. There is more, but I'm just going to keep this simple because these are the three that I have tried and tested. So retail arbitrage, you may have heard of some of these. So retail arbitrage is basically where you go around your local stores and you find discounted products and clearance items that are selling for less than they are on Amazon, and you buy them from there and then you resell them on Amazon, and you can make decent money doing that. But you're constantly chasing your tail because you're constantly having to go around all these stores to find products. We've got someone who's joined there. How do we? Can you just mute yourself if you've just come in?
Everyone's muted, Alex. There.
Cool. Then there's drop shipping. So drop shipping is basically where you buy products directly from a manufacturer, and then the manufacturer ships those products directly to the customer, which is good because you don't actually have to touch the products. But as you'll see in a second, there are some problems with that. Private label, this is what me and Peter focus on. This is our bread and butter, and this is what we would recommend for you because it's the most scalable. And this is where you create your own product, label, brand. So which business model should you choose? Okay. From experience, we believe the best to focus on is private label because it's the most profitable and the most scalable. We've tried and tested all these models over and over again, and private label always comes out on top. So I'm just gonna give you some examples of this, right? So just before COVID, I started drop shipping. Okay. So I started drop shipping these two very specific products, and there's a folding weight bench and a wall mounted pull-up bar. Okay. These are both health and fitness products. And this is right before COVID. Okay. So when everyone was like locked down in their homes and they were all focused on wanting to get fit and stay healthy, I was like, right, this is a good way to go here. So I started drop shipping these products in America, and I started bringing these in. I found suppliers for them in America and then was selling them to customers. And this is the money it was making. This was making over $1,000 a day, okay, from these weight benches. And you can see there the orders, you can see the numbers on the screen. And to me, I was mind blown because I was like, holy shit, like this is insane. The problem was though, well, there wasn't one problem, there's four problems, right? I had no control over stock whatsoever. So no matter how many orders I made through paid advertising, it would always come down to whether or not a supplier had stock or not. So I was always constantly stressed out every day, either trying to find new suppliers or contacting suppliers to make sure they had stock. And it was an absolute nightmare. And I actually ended up refunding a ton of customers because I couldn't fulfill the orders. And yes, I did make money on this, but I also lost a little bit of money because of the money I'd put into advertising to get the customers. So it was an absolute nightmare. Okay. And then I moved on to retail arbitrage. So retail arbitrage, again, is where you're going around local supermarkets and you're finding these bargain reduced products and you sell them at Amazon for a more expensive price.
I think I just want to interject there, Alex. I remember the day actually we were in Asda outside Edinburgh, and I remember actually just saying, "Oh, look at those products there, £1.50," and it's like, "Oh, it must be a glitch on the machine." Like, but sure enough, it was real. This is it was a good find.
Yeah. So this is what we found. We found about 15 or 20 of these, and we bought them all. And there was multiple other different products we bought. So just as an example,
Mm.
£1.50 on Asda, right? And then we went to Amazon and sold it for 14, £15. And after all the fees and everything were accounted for, it was about £5.20 profit per unit. Okay.
Mhm.
Which is pretty good if you think about it. Like if you had loads of these products, you were sending to Amazon, you could make a fair, decent bit of money. Okay. Again, there was a problem, many problems. So I could only buy whatever I could find in the stores. So if you've been to supermarkets before, you'll know the discounted and clearance sections are very small. I also have to use a ton of my own time, fuel, and money driving around these stores to find these products, right? And I was fairly limited to my local area. So there was like literally I was capped by how many supermarkets were close by. And I then had to package everything to send to Amazon myself, right? And then I ran out of stock really fast because they sold really fast once you're in Amazon, which is completely fine. But if you're looking to build a long-term scalable business with Amazon that is fairly passive, this is not the one. Like, it's definitely not the one. Okay. And again, this then leaves us with private label. But before we jump into the meat of this training, I'm just going to move forward a second. So yeah, some more mind-blowing stats on Amazon. You can just see here, like it dominates e-commerce by a country mile. Its net revenue is massive. You can see their third-party sellers make up a lot of the market, and it's always continuing to go up. You'll notice the upward trends, and you'll see here the reasons for US people using Amazon to shop on. And fast free shipping, which is Prime. Obviously, everyone's bought stuff on Prime. And as third-party sellers, we can leverage Prime and use Amazon's trust for that, which is another reason why we should be on Amazon. Okay. So this is ready for you to take the slice of pie, and it all starts with choosing the right products. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to pass you over to Peter, and we're going to go through some more granular tactical stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to top sets. Have you got the presentation there, Peter? Do
you know, Alex, I don't. Do you want to just keep? Well, do you know what? If you talk for a minute, I'll open it up. Right?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, guys, this is a bit clunky. This is literally the first time we've used Zoom to do a presentation, but we want to basically walk you through now a bit more of the granular steps to finding the exact products people are already buying on Amazon, and then how we can figure out how they're going to continue selling and everything in between. This is where it gets quite exciting, actually. And we'll show you the actual real power of Amazon.
What number is that, Alex? Cool. What slide is that?
We are on slide 44.
44. Okay.
Yeah.
Just give
44.
So I'm just going to be claim host, and then
any questions, guys, pop them in the comments as well. So we'll try and answer them as we go through. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen now and see if we've got any questions that have come in. So chat, no worries, guys. Okay, awesome. Peter's been chatting. Awesome. Yeah, if you guys have got any questions, just pop them in the chat. I know I've seen we've got some more people join, which is awesome.
Hello, folks.
There we go. Cool. So I can see an A4 size there.
Can you see that now, folks?
It's like an A4 size, Peter. It's like a random shape.
Hold on 1 second.
The next time we do this will be a lot better, I tell you.
How's that?
Is
that better?
I can't see your screen. Guys, can you say if you can see Peter's screen?
Oh, here, what is going on here? Up share.
Tell you what, do you want me to share mine? We'll carry on.
We'll just try it once more here because it should be working. Here. Do you know what? Actually, you share it.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Just make me the host. I'll do it.
You are a host.
There we go. Right, here we go. Let's go again. Right. So we'll walk through this. Okay.
Yeah. So step one, well, let's see, rewind there, we'll go back. I want to start the title. Yeah. So how to uncover the exact products people are buying on Amazon in less than 5 minutes. So guys, as Alex said, we need to find what products people are buying before we can identify what we're going to buy. So step one, download AMZ Seller Browser. It is free. You can get it in the Google plugin for Google Chrome or for any browser that you are using, and just add that in. Okay. Step number two, go to Amazon. And guys, it's worth adding in. We will give you this recording, so don't be panicking, taking notes and all that. You'll be fit to go through this yourselves in your own time later on. But step two, you go to amazon.co.uk or amazon.com or whatever market you want to use, and navigate to best sellers. All right. And then you'll notice when you scroll to a subcategory, which is like Amazon grades its products on categories. So if we keep moving down into subcategories, we'll notice something called a bestseller rank, okay, which is that wee red number you'll see on the screen. And that's the plugin displaying that. And on the next slide, you will see, yeah, in greater detail. So that number there, that shows how popular that item is. Now, you can tell it's baby stuff I was looking at there, even though doors, gates, and ramps. My wife had a baby about a week ago, so maybe you can tell what I was looking up on Amazon when I was putting a part of this presentation together, but pretty cool. Red is a BSR, okay? So a BSR tells us the sales velocity of a product, right? A BSR of 1 is selling a lot. That basically means this is the most popular item in that category or that subcategory, all right? BSR of 10,000, selling a fair bit, as Alex says. BSR of 50,000, selling a few. Now, every category on Amazon is different. So some categories, a BSR of 10,000 is really, really good. In some categories, it's not as good. But still, overall, BSR 10,000, I'd be quite happy with it. Okay, on the next slide. This basically means we can quickly and accurately identify the product people are actually buying right now on Amazon, okay? So I get you. You're like, okay, this is selling now, it's working well, but will it continue to sell in the future? Like, is it seasonal? Is there other things going on with this product that I don't know? To figure this out, we use a tool called Keepa, right? And this examines a product's past history and allows us to basically accurately predict its future sales as well. Okay, so when you download this tool and install it, and it's €19 a month, okay, so it won't break the bank. It gives us a number of things or sort of attributes on a product listing, okay? Number one, it shows us the sales price, both all in the past for how long that product has been live. So that allows us to track, like, is there a lot of sales price changes for this product? Because we want something that's fairly steady. We don't want something that's like, if I brought it in at £30, it's really profitable, but it goes to £10 for most of the year. We don't want that. So we're able to look at that. It also shows that sales rank, which is the BSR. So the more flat that number is, the more consistent sales are. Again, a really good example, I don't have it here, but we were able to demonstrate with a Christmas tree. You could see that product sold really well in December, but then, after 20th, 21st, 22nd December, sales just disappeared. You would not want to be ordering that item in October, November. So it allows us to actually look at that in the past and get an idea for what the future sales are going to be like. And then finally, we can see the offer count. Now, what the offer count is, and it really comes in more important when we're talking about, if you're retail arbitrage or drop shipping, but it's basically how many people are selling under that listing, under that EAN number. Now, with private label, the offer count is always going to be 1 because you are the only person with that EAN number. You're the only person with that brand. So again, it's just good data to have. It shows us how the marketplace is performing. Okay, so we now know how to find products people are actually buying. We also know the price history to know if it will continue to sell into the future. So what makes a good product? Okay, a good product, and this is kind of how we like to identify them. Simple to manufacture, so there's not many moving parts. It's ideally something that if you drop it, it won't break. It's something that's really simple, or it doesn't basically need an instruction manual. That gives you an idea of what a good product is, like at a high level, right? Has a BSR score of between 10,000 and 30,000, but it can actually be lower than 10,000 as well. It just really depends on how the market is. No more than 5 other sellers. So this basically means like there's not a lot of competition. Okay, so we can come in and definitely take a slice of that pie. Again, easy to manufacture, is not electronic. Folks, we're trying to build a global business here, global brand. If you think about electronics, they break, but also, the UK, 220, 230 volts, Europe, you've 110 volts, the US, all these different voltages, different requirements. We just don't want that hassle. We don't want that. We want something that can be sold everywhere without any changes. And again, it has to be profitable. Like we're not going to be bringing in a product that isn't going to make us any money, because you'll find plenty of them, but we want to find the profitable ones. So actually, this is really exciting, right? I think I'll open up the chat here, Alex. I think this is a really good time to use our chat, and I'm going to give everyone a chance to do it. What is this product? This is my first product, guys, and I'm going to tell you what it is on the next slide, but I'd love you all to guess. And we'll talk about this product a little bit more then, right? But this just shows you the power of Amazon. So guys, if you want, just write into the chat in the next 10 seconds what you think this is. A little hint, this product is in the pet space and it is for dogs. I should have like countdown music now.
Yeah. Nobody's got this right yet.
Not TikTok, but Countdown, the television show,
Yeah. Nobody's got this right yet. From the presentation we've done over the last few months, nobody's got this right.
Something that locks a collar. No, and someone else says dog collars. Again, it's not dog collars, but we're getting there.
Close.
Close. Okay. I think we're gonna move on to the next slide. Oh no, poo bags, definitely not.
I'll go to the next slide then.
Next slide. There we are. They are dog whistles. That was my very, very first product on Amazon, and a beautiful product it was. Alex, next slide. Month 1 in the UK, I generated £2,271.43 selling my own brand of dog whistles. Conservatively, they would have sold, and I to be honest with you, I think it's more than this, but I couldn't go back far enough on Amazon, about £75,000, just that one product in the UK, and it is only one product. So we just move on. Now, imagine if you had 2 or 3 or more of these products selling, how would that change your life? And we'll be coming back to this in a second. Now, once you've uncovered the product, so like if you found the product like I did, the dog whistles, how do you create your own version of a winning product and to outsell your competition? So it's worth remembering, right? When I identified dog whistles as a gap in the marketplace, I didn't just come in and sell what everyone else was selling. I had to create value over and above what was there. And I also had to address what, failings people were uncovering in the marketplace for the product. So I could then come in and obviously take sales and have a better customer experience, and it just the whole thing sort of compounds. So we move on here now, we'll see how we can do that. So in this example, and this is how I show you how I kind of did it with the dog whistles. Step 1, I would search Amazon for the product I'm considering. So I don't recommend standing desks. I was just using one when I was making the presentation, so I put in standing desks. But if we move into standing desks, and as we move along, we can navigate into the product and down to the 1, 2, or 3-star reviews, and we highlight the text of them and paste them into a text editor. Now we're going to use AI, right? This wasn't around when I did it, but I did this manually, but we can use AI for this, and it's pretty cool. So we collect a lot of these negative reviews, and then we paste them into ChatGPT. Now, I hope you all know what ChatGPT is. You probably do. What it is, it's an AI tool that, can generate, basically whatever we want based on our commands. Okay. So I asked it to summarize the text and highlight the improvements I should make to this product to avoid negative feedback in bullet point format. This really speeds things up because you can just paste a pile of reviews in. Okay. Straight away, it told me a lot of things that needed to be addressed. And if I addressed these, this was 99% of the customer's negative experience eliminated, which means that, that's amazing for the market. It's amazing for reviews. And it's amazing for like having no returns, basically.
Yeah.
So then what we can do is, right, and this is going to allow us to get pricing, and go out to the market. We can paste into ChatGPT the following script: create a template outreach email for my private label company seeking to source a reliable long-term supplier for this product. Request the supplier provide me with free onboard pricing. This basically means that the supplier is responsible for getting that goods to the ship, with the container in the ship, and then it'll obviously reach the UK or Europe or wherever you're sending it to. Exact carton dimensions and minimum order terms, including the cost of it for a sample unit delivered, duty paid. So I pasted this into ChatGPT in the same thread that I was asking the questions about, summarize the faults, and then I get a letter to actually go out to suppliers. So I take that and I visit Alibaba and I identify multiple suppliers for my standing desk. I say multiple because you should never just rely on one supplier, because not all suppliers are created equal. We want to go out to the market and actually discover who's the best value, who to prefer working with, who can, be the best for the long-term relationship. So once we do that, we use the outreach letter and we contact potential suppliers. When the supplier comes back to us with pricing, as per our request, we actually use the Amazon fee calculator to identify the profit margins. Okay. This is available on Google. You can sign into this as a guest, and it straight away tells you like exactly what Amazon would charge to, pack that item, to store it, everything that would be needed in order to sell that item to a consumer.
Yeah, and they would, just to add that as well, suppliers usually in China, which is what you would usually find at Alibaba, they get back to you like super fast. Like they're really good to work with, and most of them are fairly loyal as well. If you get a good supplier, which is quite easy to do, that they want the relationship, so they'll be back and forth with you through chat, through communication really fast. So this isn't like a process that's dragged out over weeks or anything like that. Like literally, if you send an email or a message one day, you could have a message back within hours or the next day. Like sometimes
Yeah.
it's literally minutes if the supplier is online.
Like sometimes, Alex, they never forget about you.
Yeah. No.
And sorry, I just see a question there from Raul. So when finding a Alibaba supplier, should you be only using trade assurance? Not exactly. Plenty of suppliers I've used are not trade assurance, but to be honest with you, there's a lot of suppliers out there, and if it makes you feel better, use the trade assurance supplier. And
one thing I would recommend is just trying to find suppliers who have been in the game longer than others.
Yes.
So usually I would find suppliers that have been in the game at least 5 years of trading experience, and they are rated on Alibaba, and you can see clearly how many years they've been in business. I just usually find they're more reliable, and especially if you're working with them, they just know how to communicate with you as a seller. They know what you want, they know what you're asking for,
whereas what you need.
Exactly, yeah. So it's fairly straightforward.
Yeah. So by doing that, anyways, folks, we now have an exact pricing and an improved version of a high demand product already selling. Okay. So this means we never risk buying a product before we know it's going to sell. So we know this product's going to sell because we've looked at the market, we've looked at the past experience, and we're able to say, look, realistically, we improve this, it's going to be a seller. We know it's going to be profitable because we've got the pricing, we've plugged it into Amazon, we've plugged it into our own calculators, and we're able to say, look, this is what's going to cost us. So, X, Y, and Z, if this happens, we're going to make this amount of money, right? Best, medium, different potentials of results for the product, but nonetheless, not a loss, definitely a profit. And we know there's already a high demand for the product. And this is where things get exciting. I'm going to throw you back to Alex. So Alex, over to you.
Yeah, sure. So, right. So we've just gone through some basics of how to find products. Okay. Now, this is all this going forward now is where the real magic for Amazon comes in. You'll see like how compound growth and market multiplication comes into things. So this is how we sell our products globally without expensive warehousing or staff. Okay. So Amazon makes this really straightforward. So I know some of you had some questions on TikTok about like applying what we do in the UK to the US, or moving from different markets. This will all explain this in a second. So this is how e-commerce used to work. E-commerce used to work that you would have to do everything yourself, from storing products, shipping, and customer service. It was real hard to reach a big audience without spending a ton on marketing, and smaller people like me and you would always struggle to compete with bigger companies and brands like Amazon. Okay, now Amazon FBA has come along. You can utilize Amazon's FBA service to store and ship your products, and they handle all the customer service for you. That obviously frees up more time for you to focus on other parts of your business or go and live your life. Okay. Amazon has the large customer base already, and it's easy for us to tap into this huge audience. And we can now compete more easily with larger brands in even Amazon themselves as smaller sellers, right?
I think, Alex, sorry, I just want to interject there. Just if you go back, that second last point there, but Amazon's customer base, folks, I think it's worth pointing out that, if we created a store online like we did with drop shipping, right? Like that's our store, but there's no trust there between us and the consumer, right? Yep. Whereas if you're shopping on Amazon as a consumer, you have no worries about, will I get the product? If something goes wrong, will I be able to return it? You just have such comfort. So that's why when you start selling on Amazon, you're becoming a little arm of Amazon. People are happy to buy off you. You don't have to work really hard to convince them to make a sale. Just put a really good offer in front of them with a really good listing, and the traffic's there already. They're inclined to buy. I think that's really worth pointing out.
Yeah, so this is probably an old photograph now, but like this is the inside of an Amazon fulfillment center. This is definitely an older picture. Definitely. This is all books. But now you would see robots running around, and it's actually crazy what they do inside these places. Unbelievable. And there are, at the minute of recording this, there are over 175 Amazon fulfillment centers around the world. Okay, and this is just to give you an idea of the scale and what we can actually tap into. So if you're in the UK or in the US, you can sell in all these different marketplaces without having to have a physical location in those places, right? So this is just basically the steps to doing this. Okay, so you want to create an Amazon product listing. And you can do this by going to sell.amazon.co.uk or .com. In fact, actually, Peter, let me just pass this over to you because you.
I'll interject there. So basically, once we have identified a product and we're like, okay, we're moving forward with this product, it all adds up. We're going to bring it in and we're going to sell it either in the UK, in Europe, in US, Canada, Australia, wherever we want to sell it. We have to create an Amazon Seller Central account and then upload our new product to Amazon. Because remember, we're not selling something that has been sold before. We're not going on someone else's listing. We're going to make a brand new listing for our brand, which means we'd create a new listing on Amazon for that. So when we do that, we create a product listing. On the next slide there, Alex. Sorry. And then what we're able to do is we're able to use something called Amazon Global Logistics. Okay. So it's worth pointing out when we first started, shipping was a bit of a nightmare. Okay. Whereas Amazon have now actually taken this under their wing. And it means that we can actually, inside our Amazon Seller Central accounts, which is kind of like your dashboard as a seller, you're able to create an inward order for shipment from China to wherever in Amazon's network you want to ship your products. Okay. And the rates are amazing. This is for a pallet from Ningbo to Amazon in the UK. It's £151, folks. I shipped goods from Northern Ireland to GB, and I think it was about £130. So it gives you an idea, like the rates are amazing. And it just makes it so simple because I remember like you go back and forth with freight agents, with suppliers, trying to organize all this. Now Amazon are doing it. So once we have our listing, we can go do this, create this, and it's just organized, and they contact the supplier and get the goods picked up.
Yeah, usually you'd have another point of contact between the supplier and that, like you'd have a thing called a freight forwarder. So a freight forwarder would get your goods from the supplier and they would forward your freight to wherever you want them to forward it to. And most of the time that is like to your location or to a third party location. And then you would do a shipment from there into Amazon. But with this, Amazon are literally just saying, look, we'll take all that off your hands and we'll take the products from the supplier and just put it straight into our Amazon fulfillment centers. So once you are happy with your products and it's all been signed off and you're ready to go, you don't have to touch the product. You don't have to store it or do anything. Amazon have literally stepped in and said, yeah, we'll fulfill that role for you.
I think it's worth pointing out as well, we would have been shipping products like to our location, but then there would have been a cost, like apart from warehousing, there would have been a cost to ship those goods onto Amazon again. So by using this service, we're removing that leg of the journey, speeding up time to fulfillment center, which means we can be in stock more time out of stock for less time. And it also means that we actually ultimately make more money because it's actually more competitive pricing. Okay. So this means we can ship our products directly to Amazon FBA centers around the world without ever touching the products. I think that's what's most exciting. That's what Alex kind of touched on, right? Now, I think this is where it gets really magic. And Alex, I'm going to let you back in to present this, but this is pretty powerful. And it gives you an idea, guys. I think you're probably already sensing like how this kind of works and how this can like scale up.
Yeah. So we saw before about Peter's product making just under $3,000, right? In its first month, right? And that was one product in one market. Now I want to show you now how you can make $3,750 a month with one product. Okay. This is profit in your pocket, not revenue. So this is profit. And again, these numbers are just an example. So they could be higher, they could be lower. You could make them, if you had a higher ticket product, so you're selling really well, obviously it would be super high. So just to give you an example, let's say we've got a product we're selling for £25 retail price on Amazon. And then let's just say theoretically we were making 20% margin on that. So we were making £5 profit every single sale. Okay. Every single day, let's just say you have that one product in one market. So you've just got this dog whistle selling in the UK and it's selling 5 units a day. Okay. Which is fairly achievable if you've followed what we've shown you and you've picked a product that is in high demand and has low competition. You'll be making $125 in revenue and about £25 in profits. That's money in your pocket. Okay. Again, that's one product, one market, 5 units a day. Real conservative. Now, this is looking now if we would take that the same product and we were to use Amazon's fulfillment network and put it into these different marketplaces, right? So now we've got one product in 5 different marketplaces around the world, and they're selling 5 units a day in those marketplaces. We now have £625 a day in revenue and £125 profit in your pocket every single day. Okay. And you haven't had to do anything more to get this, right? Now, this is, let's extrapolate this over a month. Okay. Let's just say, for example, same numbers. This is what this extrapolates out to over the month, right? And this is from one product. This is one product, one market, 5 units a day, £750 in your pocket without you really lifting a finger. And then 5 units a day, 5 markets, one product, 3,750 profit, and £18,000 or nearly £19,000 in revenue from one product. Okay. And this is what we were saying before about having multiple products going, because it's not, once you understand how to find a product and you know what you're looking for, you can almost find pockets of opportunities absolutely everywhere. And as Peter showed with his dog whistle, like, they don't have to be fancy products to make money. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel with this stuff. You just have to put a good offer in front of people, right?
In fact, the less fancy, Alex, the better.
Yeah, the less fancy, the better. Yep. So here's where the problem lies, right? So most people, when it comes to this, they might get quite excited by all these numbers, but they quit before they actually put in enough work. Because at the end of the day, we are building a business here, right? And that's what we need to think about. We need to think as business owners about this. And we need to put in some, quote, work for this to have legs, have foundations, and grow for us in the future. And everyone chases shiny object syndrome, okay? So everyone's looking for money-making schemes, things that will make them, money in the next week or so, which is all well and good. But if you want to build a long-term sustainable business with money that literally is life-changing, you have to build foundations and you have to focus on one thing for long enough for it to produce the results you want. So you want to build a business around you that basically gives you the ultimate freedom. This is what I've always lived for. And you need a business that will get you off whatever hamster wheel you may be on right now. It might not be a 9-to-5 hamster wheel. You might be just looking for extra ways to make money. You may be just sick of your 9-to-5 job. Yeah, for 100%. You might be just sick of where you're going right now and you want to change things. And to do that, you need a real business that can be built in the background of your life over the next 3 to 6 months. So I just thinking about extrapolating those time horizons over out to 3 to 6 months is a good starting point. So here's exactly what to do. Okay. So we've gone through a lot on this training, and there isn't really enough time for me and Peter to sit here and go through every single thing in all these intricate details, but we've given you the bare bones of literally what we do on a day-to-day basis, finding products, contacting suppliers, making sure those products are like more superior offers are available, and finding opportunities. Okay. So here's exactly what you need to do. You need to go and find products that are in high demand and have low competition. You want to analyze their sales history and ways to improve the product. So we talked about doing that through looking at negative reviews and using ChatGPT, which is worth exploring if you've never used it. It's a bloody mind-blowing piece of kit. You then want to find quality suppliers off Alibaba for those products. You want to order samples, and you want to determine profitability, because you don't want to be placing an order for a product if it's not going to be profitable for you. There's no point doing that. We're not a charity. We're in this to make money. You don't want to open your Seller Central account first, by the way, guys. Don't just go and open an account, because then you'll be paying a monthly subscription for nothing because you haven't got a product yet. What we advise you do is you find a product first, and then once you're ready to go, then you open your Seller Central account, because it will save you money. You then want to order a small batch, and you want to send those products directly into Amazon. So when I say a small batch, once you're happy with your product, order maybe between 100 and 500 units, depending on the product's cost, its size, its inward shipping cost, and send it directly into Amazon to test. Okay. It might cost you a little bit more per unit to do that, but the faster we can test products and the faster we can get to a point where we know something will sell, the faster we can get to the place where we can get better pricing from our suppliers, and we can order things in bigger quantities and start making consistent cash flow from this business. You then want to create product listings that will convert browsers into buyers. So this is where we're talking about having high quality photos. We want clear titles that explain to the customer exactly what you are selling, because you see a lot of people with these titles, they what's called keyword stuffing, and they literally cram in as many keywords and key phrases into a title as they can, and it looks disgusting, and it just leaves the customer confused. We don't want to do that. Same with the bullet points. We just want to be really nice, clear, and concise as to what the product does. Okay. And then we can use Amazon PPC, which is their advertising platform on Amazon, to further boost sales. So if you have a product and you want to further boost sales, then we just use Amazon's PPC, and we can start creating campaigns and putting money behind keywords we know will convert and make more money. And then the final thing is you want to scale into new marketplaces and grow your profits over time. And from here, the world is your oyster. You could literally take this and you could only sell on Amazon, or you could expand onto different platforms if you wanted to. For me and Peter, it's always been Amazon, because there hasn't been any need to move off the platform because it's so big and it's always growing. But I've heard of some people moving off to Shopify, moving from Amazon to eBay, just as more revenue streams, basically. But for now, we'll just get started with one market, one product on Amazon, and then expand slowly from there. And you'd be surprised at how fast this will compound. And it's probably worth pointing out as well, Amazon FBA is like crossing a bridge, okay? This is quite a cool analogy I came up with. So if you're trying to cross a bridge and one single plank from a bridge is missing, it doesn't matter, like, you know, if this gap in this bridge is big enough, you won't be able to cross it, no matter how hard you try, right? And that gap in the bridge is basically our unexpected gaps in knowledge nuances. So you don't know what you don't know. And when it comes to Amazon, yes, we can give you all the strategies, all the tactics and stuff, but there are always going to be small things that need doing to make this business work. Okay. And again, I'm not saying that because we're like hiding anything behind a paywall or anything like that. I just know from experience, there's all these little things that have to be done in certain orders when it comes to this business, that you need everything in place for it to work. And you can only get as far as your willingness to keep learning. And this goes for anything in life, really. So you still can't get across the bridge, and you can never get enough knowledge. But the most important thing to do is to walk across the damn bridge in the first place. So take the first step. If you're somebody who is sat like on TikTok, I know you've probably found us through TikTok, which is kind of ironic, but like I always try and like use time on social media, on TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that, for like focused sessions of like research or learning things. I'm always trying to cross that bridge. Okay. So I don't like planning stuff in terms of theorizing things when I can just take the damn step and just start learning as I go. Because once you take the first step, then the next step becomes illuminated, and so on and so on. So if you are ready to get serious about your Amazon FBA business and you want to make an extra few £1,000s a month or more with a real online business, and you want our personalized support to get there, and you are ready to change your life and take control of your financial future, we have put together something that may be of interest to some of you guys and girls on this stream, which is called Product Launch Ninja. And we created this as a way of packaging up all of our knowledge when it comes to building Amazon FBA business, and all the coaching and stuff to go along with that. So again, this is our online coaching program where we work with you one-to-one to start, launch, and grow your Amazon FBA business. Okay. And this is everything that's included right now in the program. So we have a full training course now, which is currently being updated with all this new stuff that we are learning, and it will constantly be being updated, and you'll have obviously consistent access to that. As soon as you come on, we'll jump on with you to do a roadmap session where we will literally plan out like where you're currently at and where you want to get to in terms of profitability and numbers. And we'll show you like how many products you need to get there, give you an actual a realistic time scale of doing that. Like success will become inevitable. Every single week, we've got group coaching calls. So, you know, you have a question anytime, well, you can just jump on these coaching calls, or you can message me and Peter in our private mastermind community, and we'll give you an answer in minutes. And on those weekly group coaching calls, we literally will guide you through whatever you're stuck with. So you're never going to be left for long at all being stuck with a challenge, right? And me and Peter are always constantly learning and evolving, like we said at the start of this stream. So whatever we learn in terms of latest strategies, what's working right now, you will always have access to this, because things are evolving, things are always changing, and we want to stay on top of that and ahead of the game, basically. Yeah, we'll help you with product research, product supplier research. Product validation is a big one. I feel a lot of people who come into this game, one of the biggest things that we feel we can help you with is validation of products. So just to give you an example on some of the previous coaching calls we've had with the students so far in the community, which is only a handful. Again, we're being completely honest here with you. We have a handful of students who have joined Product Launch Ninja so far, which is great for us, because it gives us the time and energy to focus on their business solely. Whereas obviously when we grow, things are obviously going to change a little, but they've been bringing us lists of product ideas they found, and we've literally been going through them and saying, go and check that product out, go and do more research into that, go and get pricing on that product. And we've even found products for people. So we've even been on coaching calls and been like, here, go and research this product more. Like we've even come across products for them and just said, go and take this and run with it. Like we've given them products to go and look into further that we think and we know if the profitability and the numbers are right, that are worth going for. We want to build, well, it already is an active community of entrepreneurs just like yourself. So growth in anything, your environment is the biggest thing. So putting yourself in a position where you are surrounded by people who are both at the same level as you and people who are further in front of you, should I say, is the best place to be. Okay. And that's what we want to create. And we have created with Product Launch Ninja. And like I said before, you have access to all the course updates and content for life. Okay. So whatever we put in to the new training course, you will get access to no extra cost. Okay. And we put these 3 bullet points in here and basically said, look, if you join Product Launch Ninja and all it did was add an extra £2,271 and 43 pence a month income or more, like, would it be worth it? And that is the amount of money that Peter's first product made. Okay, so it's quite relevant to say that. And that was a really, really simple product. And if all this did was help you find your first and your next profitable product, would this be worth it? Okay. And would it be worth it if it provided you with the skills to finally fulfill your dreams and not somebody else's? Because that's what we find with a lot of people who want to get out of something that isn't fulfilling. Like they're literally working for somebody else, like making their dream come true instead of their own. So we wanted to change that. And you kind of like got, you've got 2 choices really, as we see it. Like it's like the fork in the road. Sure, you can, if you would like to, you can go at this alone. You can use trial and error. And this is primarily where myself and Peter started. We literally just went down all these different rabbit holes to figure out what did and didn't work until we found out what obviously did work. You don't have guarantees of results. Obviously, it could be expensive and it could be a long journey. Or choice 2, you come into PLN, Product Launch Ninja, which is a fun environment to be in. It's much more affordable in the long term, and you will reach success much faster with Amazon FBA, and you'll make way less mistakes. That's kind of like what we want to bring to the table there for you guys. And here are the steps working together if you did decide to come forward into Product Launch Ninja today. So we want to work with you to overcome limiting beliefs, right? So everyone's at different stages in this. We want to replace those limiting beliefs with an empowered mindset to unlock your full potential as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, okay? Then we want to set you up as an Amazon seller and get you settled on the platform. We want to help you identify your first product and making sure it is profitable from the outset, okay? Then we're going to help you find suppliers for those products, and we'll help you negotiate the best prices using our proven scripts. We literally have scripts that do all this. You can just customize it slightly and send them on to your suppliers. And we also will help you with creating attractive product listings with images, descriptions, and launch preparation. So we have contacts for photography. I am a copywriter by trade before I started selling on Amazon. So basically copywriting is selling with the written word. So I have quite a good knack for writing titles and bullet points and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. And then we want to help you introduce the products to more markets and scale it to maximize its potential. So this is basically where the market multiplication comes into things. And again, this is all part of the PLN community as it stands right now. And this is, again, just to be completely transparent, we have 3 members in Product Launch Ninja, which doesn't sound fascinating at all, okay? But those 3 people are starting their Amazon business journeys, right? Or they've already started, and they've been with us now 3 or 4 weeks. And these are the people that we're able to work with quite closely right now, up until we reach maybe 8-10 people, where we will start to get a little bit busier and we will have to change how we structure things. But right now, because we have literally just launched, we want to literally give our full attention to the students that join us on this beta launch, because so again, this is what everything you will get inside Product Launch Ninja. And we have we've put a fair value on this of like just under £5,000, okay? And we could detail out how much everything costs, but that's roughly how much we feel this is valued at. And the product validation for you guys, that is worth its weight in gold. You could almost put that down to being like doesn't have a value. It's priceless, because us giving you the green light on product ideas and saying, yep, go and research this, avoid that product at all costs, will save you a ton of time and money down the road. Trust me. These are all the things we wish we had when we started, right, Pia?
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. I'm just thinking about, it comes back to, as you said, product validation, but I've seen so many people come to me and say, oh, I've ordered X, Y, and Z product. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, did you just order that off a supplier? And I'm like, I don't know, now will that work? But like, that's going to cost you thousands, you know, if it's dependent on the product, and that sometimes you may as well burn that money. Whereas if someone like us comes in and says, look, yeah, go with that because, you know, and everything lines up, or, you know, avoid that because did you think of this, or this, you know, would that work? I think that's really, really key. And that's really important. So when you order your first product, the comfort to know that, you know, 9 times out of 10, that's a good runner. That's worth so much.
Yeah. So again, that's just the total value we've put on things. I'm not saying that you'll be paying that at all. Like we literally have put this down today to just under £400, right? This is to get started today for the first 10 people in this, and then the price will 100% be going up from this. So the way Product Launch Ninja is and how it works is you join for $397, and then it's £99 every single month ongoing, which basically covers all the coaching, the product validation, and basically everything in this package here. And we wanted to make this a complete no-brainer, okay? And again, this is going back to what me and Peter wish we had when we first started, right? So for the next people who join PLN, we want to include something called PLN Live, okay? And this is only a recent idea we came up with in the last couple of weeks. And we want to obviously put our money where our mouth is, which we are doing right now. But we want to start we've already started sharing our journey of building a new Amazon store live from scratch, where you'll gain all the insights into us by watching us firsthand over the shoulder, building a store from scratch. And this is something that I wish I had when I first started, being able to just watch somebody and understand what they were thinking when they were making decisions, and how they were thinking about product research and how they were doing things. That to me was more beneficial than the actual training course itself. Like, of course, we've got the training course already included in this, which will give you everything you need. But just to be able to sit down and watch for an hour or two every single, you know, week or so, or however often we publish these videos, and you get to see where we're at with our business and how we're tackling different steps in the process. That to me is absolute gold dust, because you're able to literally steal our brains or borrow our skill sets, basically. So yeah, PLN Live will be added in there as a bonus, which is basically an ongoing stream of videos which we will share in the community to those first 10 people who join. And it is just basically going to be watching us build our business from scratch, because I know there's a lot of people on this call who are most probably at the start of their journey as well. So it's kind of like we're jumping on for the ride with you, so you can almost like follow along and just do the steps that we're doing, and you'll grow even faster that way.
I think it's also sorry, Alex.
No, go on, carry on.
I think it's worth adding as well. Like in this game, sometimes people are often like terrified to share their products. They're like, oh no, I can't share them because everyone's going to steal them or whatever. Two things. Number one, your product, you know, when you tell your friend about it, they nearly should laugh. It should be that funny, right? As in they're random products. But number two, the idea that there's not enough product out there for everyone is laughable. There's new product opportunities every single day on Amazon. And to be honest with you, that's why like we're so comfortable sharing, like, you know, what we're doing, building, you know, this brand, because it's like, it's fine. Go out there. There's lots of products. We'll find you products. We'll give you products that will work. Like there's no limit in opportunities. And, you know, sometimes we jump on research calls or training calls, and like the first 10, 15 minutes, you know, it's kind of quiet. And then suddenly you just find opportunity after opportunity. The reality is there's more opportunities for products than anyone on this call or many other calls combined have the potential to purchase. There's always going to be more opportunities than there is capital to buy products. That's the reality. And that's what's so exciting, because it means we can all work together to actually grow businesses and not be worried about, oh, you know, it's limited. It's not. It's a huge pie.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if any of you guys are interested in joining, the link is there on the screen to go and check out and join. Check out, yeah, That's it.
Yeah,
I'll just go back to
absolutely.
the screen here. I mean, I'm going to just close this screen down now. I'll put the link in the chat, and then we can just open the chat for questions. If any of you guys have any specific questions, I know
There's a
some have
few
been
here,
coming in.
Alex, that I'd love to get through. So let me see. I'm just going to go back. And guys, it would be great to have you there. And I think it's also, Alex kind of touched on it. It's worth pointing out that the price, which is a complete no-brainer, is an introductory price. In time, when these 10 spaces are gone, that's not 10 left anymore, that will go up. So, you're at a really exciting time. If you do decide to invest, you're at a very good time for yourselves, for access to us, but also just for the return on investment. It's pretty cool. So guys, yeah, you can stick on questions either in the chat or on the call, and we will answer them. But I'm just going to go back and have a look at the questions I have here. So we did answer, let me see, did I answer that? No. So when finding an Alibaba supplier, should you only be using trade assurance and verified supplier? Did I answer that? I think I did earlier on, but basically not always. Don't be panicked about that. But as Alex said, like the longer the supplier's been on the platform, that's a sign that, like, they're not a messer. They're good. They haven't been kicked off. Read the reviews, but there's plenty of suppliers with trade assurance as well. So if you want to use that, you can. One thing to bear in mind, sometimes the fees for trade assurance is a little bit higher if you use Alibaba for payments. But again, it's your risk tolerance, but suppliers are generally quite good. And if they're there a while, you can be fairly confident that you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Now, there's a question there. Any possibility of getting scammed on Alibaba? There's always possibilities, but don't worry about that. Like, your reality is we're here to help you. You'll know straight away if, like, you'll know if someone's generally trying to help you. Like,
yeah. Oh, I mean, if you follow the steps we've got in the program and basically just like to finding suppliers, you want, I'll just give them to you now, basically, you want suppliers that have been in the game longer than 5 years and they have like a 4 or 5 star review rating. It's a similar process of finding, products on Amazon. Like, you want to just find high quality. You want to look at the reviews. You want to look at how many years they've been in business, and you will not get scammed. If you go the opposite direction and find a supplier who's been in business a year or two, they don't have any reviews, you're a bit iffy about the products, or maybe you're only choosing that supplier because they give you a good price on the product. I would probably think twice and maybe go and find another supplier, because you like for if you find a product on Amazon and then you go to I've already put the link in the checkout there for you. There you go. It should be there for you again now. If you can see that. Yeah, if you I actually lost my train of thought. But yeah, sorry. If you follow the advice of just finding 5-star product, 5-star supplier reviews, and someone who's been in business over 5 years, that is more than enough. But again, just because a supplier may offer you the cheapest price on a product, don't just take that as set in stone. And as well, when you find a product on Alibaba, never take there'll be a price on Alibaba straight away. It'll say, $5 for between 1 and 100 units, and then it'll be another price for over 500 units. Never take that price as concrete, because you can negotiate with suppliers. This is the whole point of the scripts we have. Like, they're designed to build relationships with suppliers to help you get better pricing in the long run. Because that's what you'll learn with the Chinese and people in that area of the world. Their whole ethos is relationship building and helping other people. And you'll see that when you start communicating with them. They want to go the extra mile for you. And if you can do that through the written word, through communicators, like through written messages that are actually well thought out and not just, can you give me a price on this product? They will go the extra mile for you and you will get a better deal longer term. That's what I found anyway.
And as well as that, Alex, like, they'll know you're serious because, like, obviously you're communicating them, asking them questions, like, not just like, hey, how much is this? You're asking them very set questions, which, like, you don't ask those questions unless you know what you're at. Also worth pointing out, like, you actually become friends with your suppliers. Like, I have some suppliers that, like, as I said, a week ago, my wife had a baby. I sent her a picture of the baby, like, and she was, delighted. And I know she had a baby about 2 years ago, and she was sending me pictures. It's strange. We don't always talk about babies, but it gave me the idea. We build that relationship. And I remember, like, when there was a problem with cartons in the order, like, it took an extra 10 days, but she sorted it, and they go that extra mile, because in China, as Alex said, it's so important, that relationship. So I think don't treat them negatively. Be positive with your supplier, because you know you rely on them for a quality product. And also, like, sometimes people say, oh, you know, I try to negotiate the lowest price possible. I often find, you know, for the extra small amount, you know, pay that bit extra, let them go that extra mile for you. Because sometimes in China, they will make the product for the lower price, but you're obviously sacrificing something there. So really go on quality long term and build that relationship and work with them, and always talk about that future partnership. And they really like that. And the next question here: can we order wholesale products from China for US market and use Amazon logistics? Okay, so first things first, what we're teaching here and what we do is we don't teach people to order like, you know, this product is already in existence, let's order it. We look for products that we can put our own brand onto, and then we order that. And yes, we can ship whatever product or package we put together, because sometimes we add 2 items together and make a pack, like an offer. That's part of our value add. We don't always do that, but sometimes we do. We can send that to the US using Amazon Global Logistics. Yes, you can use other freight forwarding companies should you wish. There's nothing to stop you. You can use 3PLs, which are third-party warehouse, to store your products before they go into Amazon. These choices are always there. I just find Amazon Global Logistics a really handy way of getting the product directly to Amazon. But again, every product's different. Maybe you don't want to do that. That's absolutely fine. We can work it another way. So then we send to third party in US from China. As I said, you can do that, or you can send it straight to Amazon. The options are there. How wholesale works. So I kind of covered that. Not too sure how to sell in other markets. Like, do I need a company in Germany to sell or get a VAT number? And can I send stock to Amazon from them? Okay, so basically, first of all, I'm not an accountant or whatever, but I can give you my advice based on what works for me and what I know works for others. Okay. So if you want to sell in the UK, or you're based in the UK or whatever, you have to, I would just recommend selling in the UK full stop. I would not do it, or any other market if I can help it. What I actually recommend, what me and Alex actually teach, is to have a UK based entity, which basically means a UK limited company. Okay. So if we're sending goods to the UK, I like to import them into the UK from China, right? Now, there's 2 ways to sell those goods into Europe, okay? Number one, we can now, it did stop for a while due to Brexit, but it has been resolved. The market always finds a way. Business people will sort things out. So you send goods into Amazon, the UK, those goods can then be dispatched from the UK into Europe. What Amazon does is it removes the UK VAT and adds on the European VAT for whatever country the goods are going to, and it remits the VAT to that revenue authority. Okay, so that's one option. You can do that. The pros of it is, it means you keep stock in one spot. The cons are slightly slower delivery for the customer and a little bit higher fulfillment fee, right? Another thing you can do, and what we actually recommend a lot, but again, the options, there's always options here. You can send your European, so your EU goods, right? You can send a portion of that from China to, for example, Germany, okay? When you do that, you create a German VAT number in the name of your UK company, right? We've contacts I can send on to get that done for you, right? Down the line, but it's an option, right? The goods go to the German fulfillment center. From there, they are shipped to your EU customers in any of the European marketplaces. Now, Amazon has fulfillment centers in more European countries than Germany, but the problem is, if you tell Amazon, you know, move the goods around, yes, the customer gets it quicker, but you as the seller become responsible for VAT. So if my goods were sent to Spain and then a Spanish customer buys them, I have to pay Spanish VAT every month or every 2 months, whatever the return period is. But if it's sent to a German customer, I have to pay German VAT. If it's sent from an Italian fulfillment center, I have to pay Italian VAT. Basically, it becomes a little bit of a nightmare. Yes, Amazon has programs in there to take care of that and things like that. But the reality is, I like to keep it simple. So I like to have 1 or 2 VAT numbers, definitely the UK, and if another one in Europe, Germany. And I tell Amazon, keep all the stock in Germany. Don't shift it from there. That means every 3 months, I just upload a report. It tells me how much money I have to pay to the German VAT authorities, and it takes the money via direct debit. So that's how you do that. So it's not too bad at all. I have Europe VAT. Can I sell in UK and US? If you are not a UK company, again, this is tax, I don't call this tax advice, but from experience, if you do not have a UK company, you will need to register for UK VAT day one. If you have a UK limited company, you can avail of what's known as the VAT threshold, and you do not have to register for VAT up to your turnover exceeds £85,000. So that's quite good. In the US, there is no VAT. Amazon takes care of sales tax, and sometimes you have to pay, depending on the goods and the quantity that you pay, duties on the item coming in, but it's quite small. Like it's much lower costs in the US than Europe for importing goods. But again, that's the options there. Okay. What's the difference in price for fulfillment centers in China to Amazon compared with doing an inward order? Is it comparable? Why does Amazon? So to be honest with you, Amazon Global Logistics has only launched in the last, to be honest with you, the last 2 months, really. Maybe a bit more, but like it's really only got its act together in the last number of months. Basically, it's actually been around a little bit longer, but it's got its act together. Why does everyone not use it? Basically, everyone has options. People sometimes have relationships built up with freight forwarders. They're happy with them. What I found from my experience in terms of getting containers moved and getting different things done, it is more what's the word? More competitive. So that's what I found. Okay. How do you get the product from the supplier to Amazon, and why and who do you pay? Okay, so sorry, I just see a question there. £85,000. That's revenue. Just see that down below. Quick answer there. Oh, thanks, Alex. I see you answer it. So basically, to get the product from the supplier to Amazon, there's a few ways. Okay, as we suggested, you can use Amazon Global Logistics, or you can use a freight forwarder. It doesn't matter. I can recommend good freight forwarders as well. The goods get made in China, but they can be made anywhere. But let's just say China in this case, right? That's where the majority of goods are made. And what you can do is you can actually get the freight forwarder or Amazon Global Logistics or whatever to pick up what's known as either, well, if the item is small enough, you can send it via air directly to Amazon. So I think that's where the dog whistles were sent via air. But generally, that's not the case. So you would need to get the item picked up in China, and it would be either a less container load, an LCL, which is like, not a full container, or it could be full container, which is either 20 foot or 40 foot. Okay, so the goods get loaded into whatever configuration they're coming in, and the freight forwarder or Amazon Global Logistics, which is utilizing freight forwarders on scale, bring the goods from China to the fulfillment center. So you create what's known as an inward order in Amazon. They scan the item when it comes in, and that puts into stock tied to your account. And then suddenly it's available for FBA, which basically means Amazon pick and pack your item and send it out to the customer and deal with any issues the customer has, like if they need a return or whatever. Amazon deals with that, and you get really good shipping rates to consumers. And it's just done like that, like really, really quick. You can be selling 30, 40, 50 units a day, and you don't have to do anything, right? Now, what you can do as well, if you want, you can have the goods shipped to your own storage facility. So if you're, for example, in the UK, you can have the goods shipped to the UK, to your warehouse or to a container, wherever, it doesn't matter. And you store the goods there. The advantage of this is you have very low storage costs because you're storing them in a container. But when you want to send the goods into Amazon, you go into your Seller Central, you create what's known as an inward order. Amazon generate a label, like sometimes it's £2.20, £2.80 to send a big box with UPS into Amazon. It's amazing rates, to be honest with you, but sometimes it's a little bit more, £6, £7, but still it's very good. And then they pick it up into Amazon. About a week later, it appears in your account and you can sell the item. So that's how, there's the different options for getting goods into Amazon. It's worth pointing out, that's okay if you're, in the UK, like, so you can actually, if you're selling to the UK and you want to sell that into the UK market, that's fine, right? But think about it, if you're in the European market, you don't really want to warehouse yourself personally in GB or in the UK, because you're sending the goods in, you're paying UK VAT, tax, blah, 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 and you're sending it out again, you're paying more VAT, tax, all this. You don't want to be doing that. So you want to be sending the goods straight to Amazon, ideally in those other markets, or using a 3PL, which is like a warehouse pre-Amazon. So you don't want to be paying duties when you can avoid it, right? That's worth pointing out, right? Let me see. I think, guys, I think that's all the questions. Do people have any other questions? Yes, fire ahead. I don't know your name. Yes, help. I hope I got that right.
Unmute yourself, bro.
Can you do it here, Alex? Or?
Done it.
Brilliant.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Right. So, I don't know if anybody else has questions, but I have a fair few. I mean, I've done heavy, extensive research. I've got currently I'm using Jungle Scout. I haven't created a Seller Central account for obvious reasons. I'm in the product research phase.
Mhm.
So Jungle Scout actually doesn't work that well if you haven't got Seller Central, which is a bit annoying. But I probably will for the price. I think I'm just going to create it when because I'm in that product research stage. So I think I'm just going to create an account and just suffer I think it's like 25 quid, just suffer
It's not too expensive if you want to do it, but
Yeah,
there is a few things you need to be aware of prior to doing that. Definitely. So your account, do you have a company?
I don't know, but I'm aware of how I'd make one. I know it's not.
No, it's not too hard, but just beware that you want to make sure your company name and your credit card in the company's name match exactly the information you have on Amazon, because otherwise they'll just block the account and then you have to get it unblocked, and that sometimes can be really quick.
Okay.
Sometimes that can take a month.
Yep.
Okay.
Typo
Good.
will cause it.
Okay, I didn't know that, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, onto my I've got a few questions. When you're talking about say we've got to the point where we've got a product that we're selling in the UK and we're looking to expand, would you be having to create a brand new listing when you go into the other markets, like the EU markets and that sort of thing, and start basically from scratch again? Is that what you'd?
No. So what you do is, and that's really great, you do want to expand. Now, what happens is you get an ASIN when you create a product, right, on Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm.
That ASIN is for that product. So when you go and create your European listing, it just pulls the data from that ASIN, and oftentimes it shares the reviews and everything like that. So you don't have to recreate everything. It's the same EAN number. And this is your global ASIN for that product. So it'll work in all the Amazon marketplace. It just pulls it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, you'll need listings translated, but that's mainly about it.
Yeah. Okay. And I was going to ask, in terms of one thing I've obviously as I said, I've done research. One thing I've never really had the answer to was, once you have your listing and you're doing your paid ads, does that just go on forever? Are you constantly, because obviously you're with the paid ads, I know that you then start to generate organic sales, and obviously you want your organic sales to go up, and that's how you make your money from whatever the PPC that you're doing. But I'm assuming you're going to forever be doing PPC, right? And obviously your sales go up over time and your revenue does, so it doesn't really, it's like you're weighing up the cost per dollar, I guess, or pound.
So every PPC sale you make, right? Every sale you make, is not a PPC sale, right? So PPC could be averaging from 8% average cost of sales. So it's 8% of your product sales price. And sometimes some products, it goes up to 20, 30, 40%, depending on the product. Now, bearing in mind, and the market and how competitive it is, right? Now, what we do is we like to find search terms, stuff that are less competitive. So we're not spending money on terms that are not making money, because that's pointless, or you're making a loss at, right? Once you've identified that after, a series of auto campaigns and different types of campaigns, you can turn some of them off if they're not performing, but you leave the ones that are. The idea is you never turn them off, and it all just pools together. So in a calculator I actually like to leave ACoS at 20%, and just put that as my kind of like, that's what it'll cost. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's slightly more, but I average it out. And then I'm also making a number of sales, quite a number of sales that aren't PPC at all. You get them through a really good optimized listing, through, like in terms of search terms, in terms of,
where your listing features on pages, and
it'll feature anyways automatically. And then because if your BSR is ranking good, it'll get pushed up. If it's converting well, like I remember dog whistles, again, come back to dog whistles, like I remember that had a sales page percentage, I think of the term, of 50%, which meant that 50% of people that came on to that page bought. So Amazon showed it to a lot of people. But I did PPC on that, and actually, funny enough, you should say that £2,271 43 pence, I know because I've said it a lot, that actually had flip all PPC spent. There was so little.
I was gonna say then, like, I think a lot of people get into this mindset of thinking when they launch a product on Amazon, or if it's their first or their third or fourth or fifth product, they think they have to do Amazon PPC. like Amazon PPC is part of the launch process or whatever. I've found completely opposite, and Peter may agree with me this or not, but like some products literally do not need PPC spend. Like they just get pushed in the in Amazon enough. And as soon as you get, say, for example, Amazon's bestseller badge and things like that, like all these things just account for more people seeing your product and then obviously buying the product. There are obviously in some cases where PPC has helped my products and made more sales, but it's not the case. It's not like you need PPC for this to succeed. Like once a product has grown organically and you start getting decent reviews and things like this, it's just a flywheel in itself and just generates its own traction.
Compounds, nearly, you would say, Alex.
Yeah.
Right, and another question, if you don't mind.
Fine.
Okay.
Everything that everybody or all of the people that I've looked at, all of the research that I've done, there's always a huge disparity between the UK and the US market in terms of what people are earning. And I know when it comes to like, I don't know, like getting reviews, say you had like friends and family, let's say, to review your product or buy your product and review it, that's going to be a lot harder. It's impossible if you were selling in the US, if you know what I mean, because they won't see your listing because they're buying in the UK, right?
So anyone can buy a product anywhere. So you can buy a product and ship it to friends in the US. You can buy a product in the US and ship it to the UK if you want in some cases. The reality is I actually don't get hung up on reviews. Some people get really hung up on reviews, like, and we're going to experiment with different things to encourage more reviews. But the reality is, like, if we examine the market, right, if we really look at the market and we discover that a product has a pretty terrible listing, or it's not FBA and it is actually only FBM, and you know, we can really come in here and maybe offer more value or a better price, and or a series of those things together, right? The reality is we're going to make sales. So the reviews will come naturally if we build a good product. We don't need to be like, you don't need reviews to make a sale. Like every product I've launched has started with 0 reviews. And I have not, like once I remember I got a friend to review a product, and actually that product didn't work out for me. This was years ago. And to be honest with you, never again. And funny, it's actually against Amazon's terms of service.
Yeah,
so
I know. Yeah.
I would be wary because sometimes your friends and family would be on your Wi-Fi or maybe using your machine, and that SHA-256 is actually tied. It's a computer code. So Amazon can work out that was someone that you know, and you can get reported for that. So I would actually avoid that because it's not necessarily needed. Amazon spends a lot of money on I'm not giving out to you, by the way. I'm just saying Amazon spent a lot of money trying to figure out like how to avoid fake reviews. And I know from my own experience, the reviews come. So I wouldn't panic that. And Alex, I think you'll completely agree.
Yeah, and again, they just compound themselves. So the more reviews you have, the more reviews you'll keep getting. Like you'll get maybe 1 or 2 will start trickling in. Once you start getting to maybe 20 or 30 plus, they almost this snowball starts happening. You just start getting loads and loads of reviews, and then obviously that then compounds sales. That compounds, you get a better BSR in a category, so then you get shown for more search results. Like everything just literally just compounds on itself. There are some things I've heard people trying to do with like this basically little tactic of getting friends and family to review things, but I've never focused on that. I never would recommend it either. Same with what Peter just said.
Yeah, just focus on having a really good product and a really good.
Yeah, exactly. That will solve 99% of problems. Like if you have a product and an offer that is far superior to what's already out there for a customer, they will buy your product over somebody else's. Like end of story. And that's all you need to focus on. And that's all we want to help you do. Find the right products and how to get them in at the right price and then just launch them. That's it. And another thing as well, like I don't know how far you got with your product research, but there are some people who want to almost find these products that do home runs. So products that literally sell thousands out the gate, or like, you know, thousands within the first month or whatever. And don't get me wrong, there are products like that, but all we're thinking of doing with this, all we've ever done with our products, right, is try and find products that hit first base over and over and over again, which is why we gave that example of selling 5 units of a product in a day. Because once you start selling on Amazon, selling 5 units of a product that is in high demand is such it's such a conservative, easy task, honest to God. And if you can do that and you have 4, 5, 6, maybe more products just running all the time that are making a handful of sales every day, your profits and revenue will compound in a big way. And you won't have these products that are doing, you may have products that do hundreds of sales a day. You may do, but I wouldn't start out with that mentality. I would just
and I wouldn't necessarily look for it either. I
exactly, yeah. No, yeah, because the biggest problem you will have, like the first challenge is finding the product, right? You've got to find the product, you get into stock, hallelujah, it's starting to make sales. Then your only job then is to keep the damn thing in stock. Okay. And that's where we need to work out what our run rates are and when we need to reorder products, because obviously they take a little bit of time to come from China into Amazon to be made and stuff. So we need to like time that within how much stock we have left and how much we're currently selling. Because if you go out of stock, you literally your cash flow stops of that one product. So
and it affects your listing as well, right? Like it affects what page you're on if you completely run out and that sort of thing.
Well, if you run, like it'll come back though. It bounces back. Like it'll while it's out of stock.
Yeah, I don't think it affects it like I don't think it affects it like right then and there. Of course, if product is out of stock for 6-12 months, then yeah, obviously there will be new products that come into the market and maybe overtake you in terms of where your product is ranking. But if you run out of stock for a few weeks, or say for example, my weight benches that we're selling, they come and go into stock. Or like I'm just trying to sell them down at the minute. I wouldn't recommend selling weight benches, by the way, anyone. Like they sell, but they're just like big bulky units. I wouldn't bother selling them. They're a nightmare. But they're like a slow burner product, and they keep coming and going in and out of stock.
It doesn't hurt them.
No, it doesn't hurt them at all. So as soon as they come back in stock, they all sell.
Really? So where you're listed when they go out of stock isn't massively impacted when they come back in. Like when you look back at the listing and you're like, wow, I was on page 1 and now I'm on page 2.
Well, I think what Alex kind of hinting at it's like if it's a year from now, things change. But like short term out of stock bursts a month or whatever. Yeah. No, not really. Like reality, the offer should still be good. The market is still pretty much the same. Variables haven't really changed. You still got a good product. It'll just come back. If you want to spend a little bit more on PPC to push it up, be a bit more aggressive, you can. Don't be worried about that. And like the reality is more than likely on your first products, you are going to run out of stock. So just accept it.
Yeah. Because once you have more data to go off and your run rates in terms of right. I know for the past 60 days, I've been selling this many units every single day. That should now give me the next order quantity and how much I need to send into Amazon. And you can just keep on top of the stock and almost be sending stuff into Amazon of like a just in time kind of thinking. So like you're never having too much stock in Amazon either. Because obviously like if you send thousands of products into Amazon and they're not selling, which is like a very low likelihood, but you wouldn't want to send 1,000 units into Amazon anyway. Over time, Amazon will charge you long-term storage fees, which you want to avoid, which you can avoid if you understand your run rates, because then your products are they're not spending much time in Amazon's fulfillment centers. They're just literally in and then they're back out again. That's literally it.
Absolutely. I just see here a question from Curat. I hope I pronounced that right. You have an LLC store in the US and have some brand approvals. Once I check out, can you help me find products with suppliers? So I think it's worth pointing out, like we are private label. So what we're teaching you is to identify basically gaps in the marketplace that you can come in and offer better value, a better listing, a better price, better fulfillment options, all this combined, and then put your own brand on it. So you won't be getting brand approval per se. You will just be selling your own product. So if that's what you want to do, yes, as we said, there is work involved. There is a learning curve. You're going to have to learn to do this. You're going to have to do research, but we will help you. But you have to put in the work as well. And we will help you find a product. You will find a product. You'll have an option of products and you can pick which one you want to move forward with, but it's going to be, you're going to have to do some work yourself basically. But that's the only way, because if we just gave you a product, but you didn't actually, I'm not saying you would do this, but if one didn't understand why we picked that product or why we're doing certain things and all this, it wouldn't work for you. So there is just going to be a learning curve, but if you're prepared to do that, certainly we'll work with you. Leanna Johnston, do you need to make business account or can be a sole trader? To be honest with you, 100% recommend business account. Sole trader on Amazon, like you are, well, first of all, they're kind of two different things. So business account on Amazon is a professional account. It's 25 quid a month if we're talking the UK. Not that expensive anywhere really. 100% have that because you got a lot more account. You know, you can do a lot more things with your account basically, but also with a limited liability company, which again, what we recommend, you are protected. It's the business that's selling on Amazon, not you personally, which I always recommend. It's just something that I would just completely recommend. Again, not expensive. If you're in the UK or even if you're anywhere in Europe, we recommend a UK company. It's £12 to set up. So definitely I wouldn't be worried about doing that. So definitely professional account and a company, which again, we can help you get that all set up. That's pretty straightforward, but that's what we'd recommend. Again, we're building a long-term business here. We're building brands that hopefully you can sell down the line. So 100% you want to just think of this long-term and just invest the thing and do it right from day one.
Yeah. I mean,
that's your question.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to sell, just on that point there, you don't have to build an Amazon business with the goal of selling it. But I think me and Peter like to think of this from the start of like, right, let's put all the pieces in place that if down the line it came to a point where you wanted to sell your brand, it was in a sellable position to do so. So that's how we like to think about things. You may not ever want to sell it, and it doesn't matter. But we want to get to a point where you have an asset that is worth money and a brand that is worth money. So if you want to exit and sell, you can do that. Just to point that out. Yeah,
absolutely. Folks, I think we'll probably wrap it up there for tonight. I have to say it was a great session. We're really grateful. I speak for myself. The questions were very good tonight. I love that. I hope you guys got value out of it. Like I said, this training was training. Like there's a lot in it. You've come away with a lot. We give you our all. We answered every question, and it would be great to see some of you guys inside the program and to work with you and build out some of your businesses. It would be pretty good.
Yeah, I will just pop the checkout is in the chat there if any of you guys want to check it out. No pun intended. And we will be sending out the replay in an email tomorrow for this as well. So if you want to rewatch it or go back through anything we talked about, feel free to do so. And if you've got any questions in the meantime, just hit me or Peter up via the emails that we are sending you, and we'll get them answered for you.
Absolutely.
Good stuff, guys.
No worries, folks. We will talk to you all later.
See you later.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye. Isn't that just an amazing call, guys? I really enjoyed recording it. If you have any questions, put them down below. And in the meantime, just subscribe because we're putting out content like this all the time. We want to be really good value to you guys and we want to make stuff that really resonates with you. So yeah, subscribe, questions down below. Happy to help.